Hello, my lovelies. Today we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm going to have an unspoiler portion at the beginning of the video. I will let you know before I move on to the spoilerly portion. I have mixed feelings about this movie, so we're going to talk about it without any further ado. Grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, we're going to talk about the unspoilerly parts of this. The movie was directed by Sam Raimi, who, if you don't know, made the original Spider-Man trilogy. And Sam Raimi is known for sprinkling horror or doing horror movies throughout. Also, this scratch right here is from my dog. He decided to get on me as I was trying to clip his nails, so that's what that scratch is from, in case you're looking at it. Because it's bothering me as well, the camera. But Sam Raimi directed this, and a lot of people are considering this to be WandaVision 2.0. This movie did have some horror elements, and while blindsiding me a little bit, because I've never really seen that much like horror in a MCU film since like Hellboy or the Ghost Rider movies way back in the day. So it did blindside me, the horror elements of this movie, but I actually quite liked them because I'm a fan of horror. A lot of this movie focuses on Wanda and Strange, and the basic synopsis of this movie is that Strange is having dreams about different versions of himself and this girl. And every single time he's trying to protect this girl in this dream, he fails. And so he wakes up having one of these dreams. And if he finds this girl in his reality fighting a monster that has followed her from another universe. And it turns out that this girl can travel multiverses. And it's about him trying to find out who is trying to take her, who is trying to use her powers for evil, because it's clear that this girl is being hunted, and this girl is America Chavez, who is known in the MCU. And that's really all I can say. There's lots of him messing with spells he shouldn't be messing with. Lots of, is this moral to use even though it's evil magic? Is this okay to do kind of stuff. And there's a side plot of him basically asking himself, am I happy? Am I happy about my life? Am I happy right now? Because his ex-girlfriend or ex-fiance in the first movie, Christine, is getting married to another man, and he is questioning himself whether he will ever be truly happy because he doesn't have Christine. And I don't know really why we had to have that as a plot point. I don't feel like it was necessary. It was cute nonetheless. There's this really cute moment towards the end where he basically says that in every universe he will love Christine. And her universe's Steven has passed on. And that's kind of a sweet moment. And this movie focused more on Wanda than Strange, I believe. And I have some questions about that. The humor fell flat in a lot of places for me. Like, it would be horror elements, and then a dry joke that I would just kind of like, and then it would just throw itself back into some kind of like big, huge horror elements in a way. Now, that's what I can say for the unspoiler portion. If you want to be spoiled on this movie, please continue watching. If you don't, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that my view on this film is a 6 out of 10. Maybe like a 7.5 if I think about it a little bit more, but I've given myself about 3 to 4 days to feel about this movie, try to think about the things that I liked and I didn't like, because I left the film feeling like that was a roller coaster, that was great, that was crazy, but I'm also confused. So if you want to, please leave. If you don't want to be spoiled on this movie and you want to go watch it, giving you the opportunity. 3, 2, 1. All right, spoiler times. Spoilers for this next portion. There's this moment, there's a lot of things that I found wrong with this movie, or found myself kind of having no opinion on, but feeling off about. Now, the humor blindsided me about this film. The humor was very blindsiding, because I've never really seen, there's this scene in one of the universes where Steven is brought before a multiversal council, and the council consists of Captain Carter, of another universe's Captain Marvel, and Professor X, Professor Xavier, and they brutally get murdered by Wanda. I'm not gonna lie. They get brutally murdered by Wanda. Like, Captain Carter gets her shield through her. Captain Marvel gets a bunch of, like, a ceiling just dropped on her. And that shocked me. I have not seen anything like that in a Marvel movie. And it blindsided me, but, like, I've previously read Marvel comics. This kind of stuff happens in the comics, but Marvel up until this point has been very PG, very PG-13, and this movie itself was PG-13, but, like, there was a lot of blood and gore, and Wanda being, like, the pseudo-villain, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I think that this was one of Elizabeth Olsen's greatest times, being Wanda, being the Scarlet Witch. But the reason why she wants America, because she's the person that wants America Chavez to take her power out of her, possibly doing away with America in the process by taking her power. And I don't know how to feel about her arc in this movie, if she's even still alive, because it looks like she might not even be alive. And, like, it just kind of feels like we already went through this kind of thing with Wanda in WandaVision, where she enslaves a whole town, and then she feels bad towards the end of it and realizes what a horrible mistake it was. And we kind of follow through the same thing in Multiverse of Madness, where she's got the Darkhold, it's corrupted her, it's made her think that she needs to kill America to get her powers in order to travel to a multiverse where her sons are alive, where her sons and her can live together. And the fact that she's a mom and she's trying to hurt a child kind of bothered me for some reason. I'm like, you're a mom! You're a mom! But the fact at the end is, like, I liked this in a way, and I kind of didn't like it in a way. Again, this movie left me feeling odd. It left me feeling kind of confused. And, like, a lot of the things kind of didn't make sense to me. Like, it's implied early in the movie where Strange is visiting a evil version of himself that has been corrupted by the Darkhold, which is the book that Wanda has also been corrupted by. In this separate universe, Strange has the Darkhold and he's corrupted, and he's living in this crumbling reality. And he has, like, this third eye thing, and he basically says that that person that is using and is around the Darkhold is slowly corrupted over time. But Doctor Strange uses the Darkhold once, and at the end, like, the flashing ending of the film is he collapses in the street in a bunch of pain, and the eye opens, and that's the eye in the middle of his forehead opens, showing that he's been corrupted by the Darkhold, but at this point it feels it's showing that the Darkhold, both the temple that had the original transcripts of the Darkhold and the book itself, have been destroyed. So how is it still able to corrupt him, and plus not even over time? That didn't make sense to me. I was like, wait, I thought you had to use the Darkhold to be corrupted over time, and isn't it destroyed at this point? How is he evil? And he didn't use it over time. He used it once. He used it once. How is he already corrupted even if it exists in another multiverse? That part didn't make sense to me. Now there are things that I like. There's the inclusion of the X-Men in this movie, finally, by giving us Professor X for a few minutes. I liked America Chavez. A lot of people think that she was just kind of used as a plot device, but I really liked her being brought into the MCU. I don't know how to feel about Wanda, honestly. There's the fact that I don't really like the concept of Strange's only character development in his own movie is him moving on from Christine. He doesn't really have that much of character development outside of that. I like that they included even the Fantastic Four. We also had Reed Richards, who also gets brutally, done after by Wanda. I loved the horror elements of this movie. I really loved the horror elements. Now, again, I feel like the MCU has been lacking those kind of horror elements that have been in the comic books. But I feel like this film didn't, gradually go into it. The MCU hasn't, gradually went into it. But this film just has a lot of scenes that are gory, that are, rated R almost. And it felt very sudden. Now, if I had seen this before in a few other films, I wouldn't have been so, whoa, they're doing this in this movie. Because that was my exact reaction. I looked over at my fiance while we were watching it in the theater, and I looked over at him like, whoa, they're doing horror now in this. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't expect that, but I like it. Because I like horror. I love my horror movies. So that blindsided me just a bit. But I did like it. I liked that they're finally giving us those kind of horror elements. I liked the inclusion of the Fantastic Four, of the X-Men. I liked that part of it because we've been kind of wanting that for a long time, and this just kind of gave it to us for as few seconds as it did. But the concept of how far will you go to use bad magic as a magic user? How far will you go using it to save the world, but while also being corrupted? I liked that kind of concept, but it felt muddled in between all this other stuff going on. I think the best performance of this entire movie was Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch. I liked that. I liked her. And it just kind of felt weird and off to me at a lot of times because it kind of just dropped a lot on you in a few minutes. So, I was watching the beginning of the film and I already felt confused. Whoa, we're just dropping right into the action. What's happening? And then it goes into this mundane moment of Strange waking up, going about his day, going to Christine's wedding, and then all of a sudden more action. It just drops on you. It changes tones very fast, is how I'll say. Now, I overall liked this movie. I thought it was good in some areas, kind of lacking in others, but it was still fairly enjoyable for me. That's kind of how I felt about this movie. Was somewhat confused, somewhat intrigued by what they plan on doing next, because there might be another Doctor Strange movie. I'm intrigued to see how they carry this on. I liked that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. I was like, yes, my boy Wong. He has the title now. Let's go. I like that. I liked that a lot. I liked that Wong it has the title of the Sorcerer Supreme. So that's what I got for you guys. I'm gonna overall give the movie like a solid 7. I can't give it any higher. Please don't come at me. Please, this is just my opinion. Please don't come for me in any way, shape, or form, because I know that the Marvel fandom is very divided on this movie, and I'm nervous making this review because I really don't want anyone to hate on me. I was trying to be as open as possible going into this movie. I was super excited. It was my first movie coming back to the theaters since the Panini hit, so I haven't been to the theaters in like 2 to almost 3 years. I was very excited to go see this. I didn't go watch No Way Home. I still haven't seen No Way Home because I haven't had the time. I don't have Disney Plus, and I wasn't feeling the greatest when it came out in theaters. I was having really bad problems. Same thing with Black Widow, but somebody had spoiled Black Widow for me, so I was like, what's the point of spending the money to go watch it? So that's what I got for you guys today. If you feel like it, please hit the like button, maybe hit the subscribe button for shits and gigs. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. I would be much appreciated if you would hit the button. You can always change your mind later. I don't just talk about movies. I talk about books, TV shows, anime, pop culture news, pop culture drama, anything I find interesting and random. That's why the name's The Random Show. It's random on this corner of the internet. So that's what I got for you guys today. How did you feel about this movie? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. I love you all so, so much, and I hope you have the best day. Bye.